So, reality's hit the fan. The chickens have come home to roost. Okay. And it's not just about Democratic voters moving to the left. I say it's voter evolution. Because here's the reality, it's not just about the left versus right. There's more to this argument. The reality is, like I said, people are tired of the status quo. This is why the pendulum swings so many different directions every election cycle. Okay? It's the populist awareness in general. Okay? It is really kind of an independent streak of frustration. It's not just left versus right. I will say a lot of the left wing pendulum swinging is due to the anger of the corruption people are seeing and the far right turn of the government under Donald Trump's presidency. I do think that has a huge factor. I'm not going to minus that out. That is true. But it's also the fact that people are frustrated about things never getting fixed. Healthcare premiums continue to go up. People can't afford things. Okay? These issues never get addressed. We've been going on a 50-year cycle of nothing ever changing. The quality of working class life is disappearing. People can't afford things anymore. Demand for higher wages is now a necessity of survival because people can't afford things on a regular living wage anymore because inflation's gotten so bad. Okay? It's just so much more than left versus right arguments. I think people narrowly, it's like lazy thinking. They narrowly fixate things on cultural and partisan politics on every issue. It's more than that. And, you know, anti-establishment fervor comes from both sides of the aisle. Okay, I would say it's different energy for sure. I'm not here to deny the reality that some of it from the right is racism and cultural animosity. A lot of it is, but some of it is also economic anger and rage towards the status quo and the forever-ending wars. And I want to remind people that's why a lot of Gen Z men voted for Trump. And again, I didn't agree with their vote. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. You know, I've been a lifelong liberal. I've been a lifelong progressive. I've been a lifelong Democrat, proudly. You know, but not to say I agree with everything the Democratic Party endorses or does either. I don't agree with some people on the far left. I think sometimes, in some areas, they are a little radical for my taste. But, you know, I don't really like to label myself because I feel like in many ways I'm very independent in my thinking. Um, I just believe in doing what's right, doing what's just, you know. But the thing is, these conversations need to be had. And we need more authenticity in our politics, yet alone the ideology. We need a people-driven energy. We need change. We need people that actually want to get in office and do things to serve the people. We instead of just being there for a handout, instead of just being there to get rich off the system, instead of just being there shaking hands with the establishment. Okay, it's a lot more to the argument than left versus right. There's so much more arguments to be had. Another thing I want to bring up. Look at what the move that Tucker Carlson just made. Now I don't know if it's genuine. You know, he is an influencer. He was a big name on Fox News for a long time, and you know how some of these people are. They're grifters. They do all kinds of grifting projects. I'm not here to go kumbaya with Tucker Carlson by any measure, but and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, I don't think they're honest actors, but I ain't gonna lie. Their approach to politics on some levels is kind of smart. I kind of like the little moves they're making here and there, giving a kick at the GOP. You know, because they're coming out. They effectively left the Republican Party. They publicly announced it. I don't know if it's a pressure campaign. I don't know if they're really leaving the Republican Party. I don't know how much I trust these people. But I like the fact that they're kicking the Republican Party in the shiv. You know, and they're making it very clear why they're leaving the Republican Party and the fact that the Republican Party is too damn corrupt for them. Now, their analogy is correct, because what are they doing right now? They're just serving the allegiance to one cult leader, Donald Trump. They're spending more money on wars that we don't support. They're supporting unconstitutional legislation to allow Trump to do whatever he wants. So yeah, they're correct to acknowledge how corrupt they are. And they're not putting American priorities first. And they want to start an American-focused party. Now, they want to start an independent party. Fine. I wish them luck on that. I don't know how far that's going to get. It takes a long time, and it's a very expensive process. But I'm kind of enjoying it, because it's going to take a lot of votes away from the Republican Party. You know? And I'd argue some fractions of the left probably should have done that 10 years ago. You know, like Bernie Sanders, AOC, all these people that got in the party to make a splash against the establishment. They should have honestly started that idea. Because the one thing I'll give to the right, you don't agree with any of their tactics, I don't agree with their politics at all, but they sure the heck, when they want to fight, they know how to fight to pull things their direction. They will stop legislation in the mid of the night, just get their point across. They will fight till the very end, tooth and nail, to get what they want passed. Okay? They will buck their party leaders on a regular basis. And that's because they know the will of the base is with them. Their voter base is with them. Okay? So, I'm not going to say their approach is necessarily smarter, because I see some aspects of the Democratic Party getting taken over by third-party entities. So I don't know which approach would have honestly been better. I mean, regardless, it would have took about 10 years for any movement to happen. And people are like, oh, well, every movement takes about 10 years. Let's just be honest. So the left hypothetically started an independent party. They might have gained a little momentum now, 10 years later. But they know they would also suffered a lot of losses along the way, because the two-party system's too powerful. And it would have taken votes away from the Democrats and helped Republicans win. And that was always the fear they had, just like the vice versa is just the right. They fear that they're going to help Democrats win by splitting the party. And unfortunately, that is a sacrifice you have to take. But, especially for the Republicans, I'd say it's a great idea. It might change these people because they're way too corrupt. You know, it might wake them up when they get obliterated in these midterm elections. I don't know. But I don't know which approach. I honestly don't know enough to say what approach would have been smarter. But I'd say in some aspects that is happening on the left too, even though nobody's effectively started an independent party on the left. Because you see it happening within the party right now. Okay, and both parties at some point have dealt with this before. Republicans dealt with it, and now Democrats are dealing with it. You know. But I wish them luck on their endeavor. I don't know if I agree with their approach. I don't know if I agree with their politics at all. But I understand why they're frustrated, too, even though I don't agree with them. Because the side they voted for didn't end wars. They gave us more wars. They didn't make America a priority. You know, because regardless of whether I agree with people or not, I do want them to promote an agenda that's better for everybody in the long run. It's better for the country as a populace. And the reality is, regardless of where your ideology comes from, we do need to center our politics on actual priorities for this country. Instead of all this foreign corruption that we're witnessing every day in our government. Regardless of who's in charge. You know, and that's been the problem for a long time. That's all I got to say here. So anyways, y'all, have a great night. See you later. It's a beautiful night and beautiful morning here in Las Vegas. I love y'all. You have a great night. Oh yeah, and happy holidays, 4th of July. Goodbye.